A quick little walk through the garden has quickly become my favorite way to spend my lunch break. So I figured I would bring you along and show you how everything's doing. It is June 21st, so the last update was almost a month ago. It was the end of May. Things are definitely growing. I've got my flowers. The amaranth is just starting to show a little bloom. And the zinnia I've been watching, I think that's about to bloom as well. So flowers are looking good. The blueberries, they've grown, but I'm not seeing any fruit or buds on them. So I think those will take a little bit longer, or maybe even a year, I'm not sure, but they're definitely getting established. So I think they're doing good. The potato bed has just exploded with growth. It used to be that tall one in the corner was the only big one, and everything else is pretty much caught up to it. So some of them are even starting to form the little flowers that they'll have. So looking pretty good. I did use some of the space here to start some chives. So that's trying to start. I'm not sure. They look a little floppy, but maybe that's just what chives do. So yeah, maybe some chives there. The chamomile has definitely exploded too. Oh look, yeah, starting to bud. So that's pretty cool. With the sweet potatoes, those are definitely looking better. Have all the carrots. And the lettuce. So actually the lettuce, funny enough, I just harvested yesterday. I took some of the outer leaves from some of these, but as you can see, they're starting to form a head, especially this one, I think. So I kind of want to see if they'll form a head. So I wanted to leave those. So I did just take this full one out when I harvested. So we'll see what happens with that if it comes back, and the same one with that. But yeah, these are looking really big and beautiful. Speaking of big and beautiful, I mean, the Brussels sprouts are bigger than I ever imagined they would get. I mean, these leaves are huge. I'm not really seeing like little Brussels sprouts forming yet, but I think that'll happen. I'm not sure, but definitely taking up a lot of space. And the marigolds. So those have been really pretty. My zucchini. I feel like I have to touch everything so you can see the size. I mean, everything's looking really good. Zucchini and spaghetti squash. The spaghetti squash is kind of pushing up against the marigold, so we'll see how that continues to go, but it's doing all right. All the radishes, I've already harvested a few and we've snacked on them, but I bet the rest of them will be pretty ready to go soon. The spinach has been slow growing, but it's looking okay. We've had a few hot days recently. It kind of cooled off and then got hot again. So I'm wondering if the hot days are helping or hurting. I'm not sure, but that's doing all right. Here's the golden beets. I did a few days ago come through and sow some more seeds where they didn't come up. So I think they will start to come up soon, hopefully, just to fill in the spaces. And the Swiss chard. The dill. The dill is massive. I mean, this whole thing is huge, and I have another one there. So we'll have lots of dill. And the pineapple sage is starting to get more bushy. Here are my pumpkins. The garlic. I did pull all the scapes off of the garlic, so it's on its way to forming those cloves and hopefully be ready soon. The rosemary is also starting to get a little bit more bushy, so that's been exciting. And these are the Detroit dark red beets. So these ones are doing a lot better than the golden ones. Yeah. So for this bed, we have the other garlic and the loofah. The loofah has done really well so far. I do want to thin out some of these. I'm kind of waiting to see if I can pull the garlic and put some of those loofah into this bucket. I don't know if that's going to work out perfectly. I've kind of just been stalling, so we'll see how those grow. Here is my determinant tomato plant. So this is a cherry tomatoes. Some of them are coming right there, and definitely a lot more blossoms on it. So we'll get some more tomatoes soon. All the bush beans are looking good. I'm worried that these might be too close. I followed the square foot gardening tool that I have, and it said that this is how close I could put the bush beans. So we'll see how it goes. I did put this trellis here just to kind of stop them from falling over onto the onions. So we'll see if that helps, but kind of keeping an eye on that. The onions are looking all right. These are the bunching onions. And then everything this way is bulb onions. So I think in my last video, I showed where I had one single stem of oregano coming up. That wasn't oregano. That was Jimson weed, I think, which apparently is poisonous if you ingest it. So I'm glad I found out that was not oregano, because that could have been bad. So pulled that, put some flowers here. We'll see what comes up. My little tomato and basil area is doing really well. All of these are the ones I grew from seed, and look at them. They look amazing. So yeah, definitely happy I didn't give up on those. This one, don't know what happened here. I did take some of the suckers off of, I think, this pineapple one, which is starting to blossom. And the beefsteak right here. So I took some of the beefsteak and pineapple tomato suckers off and put them in water so that I can plant them to replace any of the bad ones and just put some more in that area. But I did put another pumpkin seed here just to use up this area. So hoping the pumpkin can kind of come out and trail that way. The lavender doesn't really seem like it's changed much. I saw that they like to be ignored, so I haven't been watering it as much as I've been watering the rest of it, and hopefully that'll do something. It has gotten bushier, so yeah, we'll see. I put more radishes here because we loved them so much, and I put the rest of the bush beans there too. So one row of bush beans, one row of radishes. I'm not sure which way, but I did fill up that space, and then that is my extra zucchini and my extra spaghetti squash. So those are looking really good. I went through and sprinkled some flowers here too, just to not waste any space. So hopefully those start to come up. Hopefully it's not too late to have planted those, but we'll see. And then the peppers, look at this. Hungarian hot wax, little pepper. Jalapeno. I've got my first baby jalapeno right here. So these are the ones that I did not, everything on this side, I didn't take the buds off, but everything back there I snipped off the first buds. I didn't necessarily top it. I didn't take off a whole section, but I kind of went through here and took off those. So my reasoning for doing that was to let it grow more of a root system before putting all of its energy into those blossoms, because I thought that maybe it would only come up with like 1 or 2 blossoms, work on those all year and never give me anything else. So I was trying to avoid that. However, looking at these ones now, you can see that there's definitely more than just 1 or 2 blossoms on these. And the other ones are just taking longer to get to that point, obviously, because I took all the blossoms off. So I don't know if that was the right call. That's why I did some with and some without, just to kind of experiment and see. Maybe these ones will, grow first really well, and then the other ones will grow more later in the season. I have no idea. That's something that I'll continue to kind of check in on and see how it's going and see if that, changes what I do next year. But I wanted to kind of use that as an experiment just to see what works best for me. So yeah, just a note. Here's a red bell pepper. So it's starting to get some blossoms on there. So this is the jalapeno that I did take the blossoms off. So it's starting to get blossoms again. I can't really tell if it's bigger. I honestly think the one I didn't do anything to is bigger. So I don't know. We'll see. And all the corn. Same thing. I went through and put another seed in all the bare spots that didn't come up. So some of them are coming up now. But overall, pretty happy with how those are looking. I didn't actually film it, but we did get our trellis up. So it's finally kind of completed. The garden, we do want to put a fence, so that's still like the last little project, but I'll show you what I put here. So right here on this panel of the trellis, I did put a watermelon seed. So if it comes up, awesome. If it doesn't, or if it's too late in the season to even try, I don't know. I put one there, so we'll see what happens. Same with some cantaloupe. I put cantaloupe up right here. And then I filled in all of this space with beans, peas, and cucumbers. So you can see the beans are coming up. And then there's some peas on the other side. And then the cucumbers that I had here. The cucumbers aren't looking amazing, and I did read that they don't necessarily like to be transplanted. So I'm not sure if they'll make it. I did put more seeds next to some of the ones that are really not doing well and kind of closer into the trellis to see if I can just get more to germinate so that I actually get cucumbers this year. We'll see. We'll see how those go. So yeah, that's everything. It's all looking really good. I'm happy with it. We'll see how it continues. I'm hesitant to go over here. As you can see, I've let those weeds just go because I am afraid of this area. This is where the snakes hang out. If you've seen my shorts, on YouTube, I've been sharing some of my snake adventures. There's a couple. There's 2 snakes that like to live right there, and they've kind of been hiding out there. As it's gotten hotter, I don't know if they found somewhere else to go because I haven't seen them, which makes me happy, but it also makes me worry because I don't know where they are. But anyway, I wanted to come show you. I've got some succulents here and my black-eyed Susan, which has finally bloomed and it's looking so pretty. So really happy with that, but also really scared. The raspberries are looking pretty good, but again, no buds. I'm not sure if it'll just take a year or 2 to get established before they really start fruiting, but they're looking good. And then this is actually where I put the extra potatoes that I had that I didn't have room for, just kind of throwing them in somewhere so I didn't waste them. And look at that. I mean, we might even get some potatoes here. So pretty happy about that. And lastly, the strawberries. I have picked some of them. They ripened, but they didn't look great to eat. And a couple of them, the birds came and nibbled at them a little bit. So I'm trying to keep a closer eye on them to get them before the birds do, but they're looking good. And I actually ran into MI Gardener's worker at a farmer's market, and I let them know how, you know, I wasn't sure if I did something wrong. The different variety at the bottom just never like looked great. And they gave me a replacement. So I've got some new strawberries in there that are already looking better. So hopefully that continues. So yeah, they were super nice about it. So now that's really it. You know, really enjoying coming out here. I have to find the snakes first to put my mind at ease before I come walk around the garden. And I haven't been able to do that. Like I said, I'm not sure where they are. Makes me a little bit nervous, but coming out here, shoes on, looking where I'm walking, and hopefully it'll be all right. But yeah, this stuff is making me so happy. The radishes tasted amazing. So that was the first thing that, well, actually the lettuce. We've been harvesting some lettuce and we've been using it for BLTs a lot. So those have been delicious. But then the radishes, just eating them, we kind of brushed the dirt off and just took a bite out of it right here in the garden. Brad and I, cheers to radish. So that was really fun. And I definitely will remember that moment for a long time. So yeah, everything's looking great. Thanks for checking in to see how it's going. And yeah, I hope your garden is doing great things as well. We'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.